What's going on, everybody? It's your host, Chris Williamson, along with my girl, Terrika Foster Brasby, as we tape a holiday episode the day after Christmas. Terrika, let me just tell you, I was so jealous of the amount of deliciousness, if I may say, of all the food that you said you had when you acted like it was a little something. Like, nah, just a little something for the two of us.
That's it. Just threw a little something together. It was Christmas, and I haven't really cooked in a while. So I was like, you know what? Why not? Right? A little mac and cheese, little greens, little yams, little turkey, rice. That's it. Not much.
That's it. Great. Hey, that's like a regular day. You just said, I got it. We in there. Right.
It's no big. Here. The gift that keeps on giving.
I was gonna say, yeah, you clearly got a gift. I don't have that gift. I can cook, but I do not have that good. Make some greens, you know what I'm saying? Make some ham, all that. Now for me, I had a 12-hour trip right to DC. Like I left at 7 a.m. and to go to DC, and then I came back at 10 p.m. right while I was watching the Suns and Mavericks, and now I'm here. Taping and set on.
Okay. So folks at home don't know. Well, I'm sure they have an inkling, but they don't know that we talk all the time. We text, we have a chat, we talk all the time daily. And the whole time we was texting, you was in DC, you was traveling and didn't say nothing.
Yeah, I was in DC because there were just so much great other conversations being had that I didn't need to, bring up anything else. I did acknowledge, that I was enjoying myself, but I didn't say that I went back home to DC for a little short trip, to see the family, all that. Didn't have to cook, because they allowed me to get my rest, which I appreciated.
That's what's up.
Yeah, and it's just always great, when you're with family and able to, laugh at each other, roast one another, and all that. What's funny though. When it comes to roasting, Christmas Day always gives players and teams ammunition and ability to stick it to the rivals, depending on who they're playing, right? And one of the biggest takeaways I had from Christmas Day, Terrika, is how Luka Doncic owns the Suns and Devin Booker, right? When he sees them, his eyes get huge because he put up a 50-burger against them in the nightcap game. And I think he's one of the fastest players to score 10,000 points in his career, which is crazy. And that they was getting a little action though. I don't know if you saw, but they was getting a little testy. Not Luka this time, but D-Book and Grant Williams. We know Grant Williams can be an instigator. They was getting into it, and Kevin Durant trying to play peacemaker. But yeah, it felt hilarious because on this night, it was right after Woj told people that Kevin Durant was feeling frustrated that the supporting cast was where it was and that Bradley Beal was not available. And I'm like, well, the supporting cast did their job last night. Grayson Allen went off. Temezi Metu had a great game as well. And, Kevin Durant only took 11 shots, Terrika. Only took 11 shots. Come on now.
I'm going to tell you something. This is one of those trust moments that I am trusting everything you say because your girl was asleep.
No, you wasn't. No, you wasn't.
How the hell how you going to give me 5 NBA games, 3 NFL games, and a plate full of macaroni and cheese, greens, rice, turkey? Your girl was knocked out. However, I did get an opportunity to see the scuffle between Book and Grant Williams. Okay. I got a soft spot for Grant Williams. I got to know him a little bit when he was playing for the Celtics because he is a huge supporter of women's basketball and WNBA. So he would come out to Sun games and things like that. So listen, in my eyes, Grant can't do no wrong. Okay. If him tying up with Book, he meant, you know what I'm saying? Book was messing with him or something first. I don't know. I was asleep. Okay. It is the truth. Stop giving me all these damn games on Christmas. By the time 10 o'clock come, I am tired. Okay. However, I ain't surprised that Luka dropped 50 on him though. And I ain't surprised that Kevin Durant is complaining because this is patterned behavior. As I has mentioned before, it is patterned behavior. I mean, you knew what you were doing when you signed to this team that had two players that continually from time to time cannot be available due to injury or whatever, especially Bradley Beal. So I'm gonna give Book his, because at the beginning of the season, Book was missing. He had an injury that he was working himself back from. But you're gonna get what you get from Book because that's his squad. He gonna ball. He gonna do what he do. But you really mad that Bradley Beal ain't available? When the last time Bradley Beal really been available? Is that the argument?
Hey, you're right. He's not.
Bye, KD. The excuses are up here and we're over it. Just take the 50 burger that Luka dropped on you because that's what he do. He had 19 in the first. Like, come on. Let's just take the L and move on. What are you doing? What are we doing?
Obliterating the Suns defense. There was nowhere to be found. And speaking about, the last time Bradley Beal was available, like consistently, I just looked it up. 2018, 2019. Okay. That's when he played 82 games. And then ever since then,
pre-pandemic.
Right. Yeah.
We have literally gone through a whole new world change because, pre-pandemic world is it's like what happened prehistorically before dinosaurs roamed the earth. That's a whole new world. This post-pandemic world, we're in a new era of living at this point. You ain't been available since 2018, and then Kevin Durant complaining in 2023. Bye, KD.
Yeah, bye. No sympathy for him. Bye. And it's crazy. I was talking to people before the show. I feel like Kevin Durant is going to be seen, of course, as a Hall of Famer, but a journeyman Hall of Famer where he just, each stop, there's something wrong that happens. And instead of having maybe, one or two teams that he stuck with, whole career, he's going to be bouncing around from place to place and he's never going to be happy. He's got his rings, but inside, I don't know. And that's not for us to judge, but I just know I always hear something coming out from KD's camp or something related to KD, not directly from his mouth, because we know how these players do. But yeah. I'm not for it. Speaking about complaining, did you see Steve Kerr?
I did.
Just whining about all the fouls that Nikola Jokic was racking up. I think he went 18 for 18 from the free throw line or something. He didn't have a great game shooting. I think he finished with 25 points or whatever. But yeah, Steve Kerr was not happy about all the baiting, which is you have Chris Paul on your team, okay, who is a notorious foul baiter. And I get it. They're legislating defense out of the game, but come on, Terrika, you can't feel, or do you feel some sort of sympathy for Steve Kerr?
No, I don't feel sympathy for Steve Kerr at all. Your job is to score points, whether that's in the paint, whether that's from the top of the key, whether that's from the charity stripe. That's your job. What I admire. So there are two things that I want to go back to. What I admire is the way that he criticized officiating without criticizing officiating. Steve Kerr is a very smart man. He definitely criticized the officiating by saying, "Hey, listen, the way that we are putting the officials in a position to have to make these kinds of calls, sir, you ain't slick. You just trying to save your wallet a little bit from having to pay the fines for basically saying y'all need to quit calling all these BS foul calls, right?" So that's essentially what you mad at. But at the end of the day, you just got to get over it, bro. It is what it is. That's your job, is to find a way to score points any way possible. And if that means getting to the foul line, then that's what you do. Teach your players how to sell it better. Here's the thing, though. You said Nikola Jokic didn't have a great game. And I would agree with you that he didn't have a great game. But the fact that man was 18 of 18 from the line and scored 26 points, and we're saying that that's not a great game, speaks to the talent of Nikola Jokic. 26 points is a monster game for most people.
It is.
He's averaging 26.4 points a game. Exactly. So I just think it's just wild that we could get a 26 game performance from Jokic and we are like, I mean, he did all right. He ain't have his best game. But to me, this was the best game of the whole day. To be honest, it was close through and through. And first off, there were not great performances at all from Curry. Curry's still struggling. Right. Klay Thompson. I know we were just talking about him a couple of weeks ago about how he's not the same Klay anymore, and he's never going to be. Sure, you'll see flashes here and there of what he used to be, of what he could still do from time to time, but he's never going to be that Klay again. So there's that. But I think I got to give the Warriors some credit for being able to stick into this game, because I think their bench is what really kept them in the game. Andrew Wiggins arguably was the best player on the court yesterday, and we ain't been able to say that in a long time. Played really good defense, 22 points off of 7 of 11 from the field. Like, I don't think it's going to get him back in the starting lineup, but it certainly helped to keep the game competitive. Their bench was their saving grace yesterday, but it just wasn't enough.
No, it wasn't enough. And Andrew Wiggins, you talking about, I don't know if it's going to be enough for him to, start. I don't know, the way Steve Kerr be handling things, where he gives the vet preference or loyalty, I don't know. You never know. I really am interested to see what's going to happen when Draymond comes back, whether Steve is going to be like, you know what, Draymond, come up the bench. That, I would love to be a fly on the wall.
That is interesting. Yeah.
For the conversation. Absolutely.
Can we give some love to KCP, though? Like,
oh my goodness, KCP so reliable, just so smooth with it though. You know what I mean?
I think maybe because I'm a Pistons fan, don't say nothing, Chris. But I think just because I'm a Pistons fan, I'm still very sweet on him because of that. You know, we drafted him. I really love Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, but I just don't feel like he gets enough credit for the kind of defender that he is. Like, his defense. Oh my God, his defense so impacts this Denver team. Like, he doesn't allow a lot of room for separation between him and his defenders. He really invigorates so much energy, I think, for this team, the way he's able to defend. And I just don't think that he gets enough love for that. Yesterday was just a prime example of how effective he was defensively. So I'm like, y'all got to give Kate, when we're talking about Denver and we're showing Jamal Murray love, who had himself a day yesterday, and we're talking about Jokic, like, you got to make sure that you throw KCP in there, because he's getting it done on the defensive end, and it is so impactful for how Denver plays basketball.
No, it's significant, and you touched on it greatly. Like, his ability to impact or get through the passing lanes and just on ball defense is really high level IQ, basketball IQ. And you talk about he's not appreciated. The Lakers didn't appreciate his ass, right? Money wise, because he helped him win a chip. Yep. And then the money situation wasn't right. So, okay, I go to Denver. And guess what? I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to terrorize y'all the way I terrorize other people for y'all when you actually want to give me the bread that I deserve. So, yeah, shout out KCP.
Bet you they miss his ass now, especially after yesterday.
Oh, my gosh. Yo, it was like the Celtics or the Lakers didn't realize they were playing on Christmas Day for that first few minutes, because I think Boston went up 12-0 at one point. Jaylen Brown 12-0 on Christmas Day in your building, in the crib, Staples Center. That's what I call it, but in your building, and you give up. That's how you start the game. Come on now.
Well, and you got the color purple on your floor. The color purple opened in theaters yesterday. Don't you disrespect the color purple like that by having that kind of performance while you advertising that black film. What is wrong with you? Hell out here wilding.
Hey, you wrong for that.
Y'all wild for that. But you know what, Chris, though? We talk so much junk about, I don't know about we. I talk so much junk about Anthony Davis and his ability to be unavailable. That man dropped 40 points yesterday. And as much as I give him crap about not being available, when that man is available and he shows up like that, you can't waste them kind of performances. Like you can't let them 40-point performances from AD go down the drain, right? So I just think that whatever Darvin Ham is attempting to do with this lineup, all this mixing and matching and trying to figure out what works and what works, this one wasn't working either. It wasn't working either. So you got to figure it out. You're not going to have Braun to save you every game. He had 16 points yesterday. It's just not going to work every single game. So this lineup situation, this defense situation, and speaking of defense, credit the Celtics because they was doing everything yesterday defensively, specifically Drew Holiday and Derek White. I can't even hate on. Can't even hate on them. I'm talking about straight two-way players yesterday, crashing the board, getting steals, huge block on Austin Reeves. It was like, damn, like, y'all are here to show up. And it's the reason why y'all the best team in the league right now. So, yeah, Lakers was missing KCP yesterday for real.
Mr. KCP, Alex Caruso. We can go down the list. Now, what I will say is it's more alarming for the Lakers because LeBron James has been pretty much healthy all year long. AD has missed a couple of games here or there, but they're sitting right at the bottom of the Western Conference. Okay, they're still in the shot for the play-in, but the fact that they're in this position and we've had LeBron James playing at an elite level and AD has been on more often than not, and they're at this point, this is the record, like that. That would be the most concerning thing for me because LeBron James is only getting older. And we know AD, when he goes down, people freak out thinking it's going to be the end of the year, the way he reacts to injuries. But, yeah, I'm nervous for them because, again, there are these roster issues as well that they're not holding up their end of the bargain. And yet their two best players have stayed healthy, and they're in the bottom of the Western Conference. So, yeah, that's something that I think people need to look at down the line because it will play a role.
It's December, right? So, like, we don't give, like, as fun and as exciting as NBA on Christmas Day is, it is still December, right? And so, part of us kind of has to play that cliche of there's still time because theoretically it is. We haven't even gotten to the halfway point of the season yet, right? So there is still time, but you're absolutely right that it is very concerning that this early in the game, when you've got so many of the things that we've criticized in the past actually working for you at this moment, to not be able to capitalize on those things, it's pretty alarming. And I use that same logic when it comes to the other team in LA that, like, yeah, they were playing well, they were doing what they're doing, but it's still December. Let me see you do that shit in March. You know what I mean? Right. So it's still pretty early. But I don't want to end this conversation without giving a hand clap to the Celtics yesterday, because I think when it comes to balanced performances, that was one of the most balanced performances that you can see. Kristaps Porzingis, way to show up, my friend. 28 points from you. Jason Tatum dropped another 25. Jaylen Brown, he dropped another 19, even though he pretty much went silent in the second half due to a back injury. Then you get Drew Holiday, who gives you another, you know what I mean? Like Derek White, like everybody pitched in to do their part. And I think that is probably what we look for when we're looking for top teams to contribute collectively, is that you have to do your part. So shout out to the Celtics for handling business yesterday.
Yeah, so the Lakers are 9th right now, 16-15. And for the Celtics, Terrika, no player on the starting five scored less than 18 points, right? Yeah. When you're getting that type of production and the defense that they're playing, not just Drew Holiday, but Mr. Derek White, he was throwing shots from Austin Reeves and all of them. I mean, I don't know what he's done ever since he became a father, but he needs to keep doing it. The bald head. Hey, he is playing. He is playing lights out right now for the Boston Celtics. What about though the Sixers Heat game? That probably wasn't the most entertaining because we knew Joel Embiid was out, Jimmy Butler also. But for me, the biggest takeaway is just Jaime Jaquez Jr., former UCLA guard, very reliable, extremely smart, cerebral mind. He's not the most athletic in terms of jumping off, out of your seats, but he knows angles, he knows different screens or techniques, schemes, and he's able to exploit them. And he went off against the Sixers. And so I gotta give love to him. I don't know what the hell got into Tyrese Maxey, because I ain't seen him play like that for a minute. He was bad.
Yeah, that's the biggest takeaway for me was just Tyrese Maxey didn't do it. Now, granted, I live with a Sixers fan, right? So I have to be careful about what I say about the Sixers because I ain't trying to have no beef going into 2024 up in my crib. So I just be like, you got it when it comes to the Sixers. But no, I agree. Tyrese Maxey just didn't have his best games. And I have been one that has been very supportive of Tyrese Maxey. I think I've said it before and I'm going to say it and keep saying it. I think he plays at a superstar level majority of the time. He should certainly be an all-star this year, but everybody had that game, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, with Joel Embiid not being in the lineup, this really wasn't a day that you could have afforded to have that game, right? And so I think the Sixers will be fine. Like to be honest, I think the Sixers will be fine. The Heat didn't have Jimmy Butler yesterday either, so kudos to them for being able to show up and play without their best player, but they'll be fine. Can we get some love to Mo calling a young Mama, yeah. Mama was balling yesterday for them. I said, okay, wait a minute. He can't walk. What? He had like 12, 13 straight points. I said, wait a minute, Mo. You better show out without Embiid in the lineup then. I was getting Shaq West.
Oh my God. Hey, you stupid for that. Hey, but he made the most of his opportunity. He said, "You don't have to get ready if you stay ready, right?"
You gotta stay ready, yo. I came outside and I was like, I had asked my husband. I was like, "Damn, Mo Bamba play for y'all?" I forgot. I forgot.
Right. Because he don't be getting that many minutes. He don't be getting that many minutes.
He don't be getting no burn. But he got some burn yesterday. He made the most of his opportunity. So I'm going to make sure you get some love, Mo. I got that song on repeat for you.
Oh, my God. Yeah. He averaging 4, 2, and 0.4 assists. He put up 18, 6 boards and 2 assists there. So, that was his highlight of the 2023 year.
Crazy. Yeah. I'm not putting too much in that. I'm not putting it too much into that Sixers loss. They will absolutely be fine.
They'll be fine. You know who's also more than fine though? Jalen Brunson and his game. Like there's been chatter about him for a minute, particularly this season, about whether he can lead them to a title, right, as the number one guy, and if there are all these other players that are better than him. But he cooked the Bucks. Like 38 points, Christmas Day, doesn't give a damn about what's going on outside of the basketball court. And the Bucks, we know their issues are defense. Mm-hmm. Giannis, great. Damian Lillard, really well. Some of the role players did not step up. But yeah, Jalen Brunson is giving us masterclass after masterclass at just the height of 6'2". We gotta acknowledge that, right?
Chris, you know what? I think we can just call this a Christmas miracle. Can we just say that?
A Christmas miracle?
Can we just call it a Christmas miracle? But this is why I'm saying that, because the Knicks were 0-3 against Milwaukee coming into Monday, right? So this win was huge. They had just played them on Saturday. And again, Jalen Brunson played well, but it didn't really amount to anything. So I think there was more than just record, more than just game, more than just that went into this. I think this was a confidence booster for New York. Like this team needed a game similar to what I was talking about with Boston, and needing a game in which the collective unit came together to put together a great performance. I think that's what this particular game was. Jalen Brunson gonna eat. He going to do him. He had a huge game against the Bucks the last time. So it's not as if, right. So it's not as if he necessarily needed to have a good game for that purpose, but he needed to have a good game to shut all the noise down, right? To shut all of the conversation down. He needed to do that. And I really appreciated the fact that the Knicks were able to stay poised because Milwaukee did go on a run. They did close the gap till about 4 points. And then Jalen Brunson was like, listen, I'm going to do me and I'm going to take over and I'm going to show you why I actually can be a guy that can lead this team to a championship. I mean, it ain't gonna happen, but that's neither here nor there. I'm just saying, like, it was rewarding and refreshing to see. And we're not gonna cut the Knicks any slack as to say, well, such and such didn't perform or something. No, Dame had 32. Giannis had 32. Chris Middleton had 24. Like, it wasn't like they stars didn't show up and didn't come to play. They came to play. So just, it was just really, it was a good game and a good effort from the Knicks, and you got to respect that.
Yeah, you got to respect that. Great performance from Manuel quickly off the bench. I think he had 20 points off it. Then RJ Barrett, who's been up and down all year, really, 21 points on 8 of 14 shooting. Julius Randle, we know he's one of the most frustrating stars in the game because I guess of how he lets his emotions or how he lets his offensive play affect him the entire game. But he also came to play on Christmas Day. So, it's a great win for the Knicks. Jalen Brunson, elite player, going to be an all-star this year. But the question is, can he lead this team, as you were alluding to, Terrika, to a title? So not too long ago, Becky Hammon was on a broadcast, right, for the mothership, as Terrika knows, and they were talking about where the Knicks stack up in terms of, the elite of the elite in the Eastern Conference, right, and just overall for the top contenders for a chip. And Becky, who is a Naismith Hall of Famer, right, and has already won 2 WNBA titles, worked for several years under one of the greatest coaches in basketball history, in Greg Popovich, decorated basketball career before that. She decided to say, the Knicks don't have a dude. They don't have a dude. And what she meant by that was they don't have a guy, a 1A player, who can take you all the way to the promised land. Even though she acknowledged that Jalen Brunson is great, right? He's amazing to watch. Really gritty, smart player who's gotten better year after year. But her philosophy was, or is, that if you have a small player as your 1A, when has that ever turned into a chip? And she mentioned John Stockton, right? Steve Nash. You could go down the list. Allen Iverson. They got close, but never won a chip. The only outliers are Steph Curry. She mentioned the greatest shooter ever. Generational talent. And then she didn't mention this, but she probably forgot him because it's so long ago. Isaiah Thomas, right, for the Pistons. Because he's only about 6'1", 6'2", but he ran through the league when he was in his heyday. The issue, Terrika, though, is the tremendous amount of pushback that she got from people all over social media and trolls and all that, where it felt like, and I'll let you go into this deeper, or I want you to go into this deeper, that it was a personal attack, right? Questioning her credentials. That's what bothered me.
Yep.
Not Knicks fans saying, oh, yeah, she don't know what she's talking about, or, they don't watch Knicks games. It was, well, what does she know? Who is she? Tariq, you better say something before I get... Come on now.
Listen, we are on the same wavelength because agree or disagree with her point, because I understand the point that she was making from a strictly basketball context. She's basically saying the league favors bigs. Yes. She ain't wrong. The league does favor bigs. Is that to say that a small guy can't do it? No. Is that to say that Jalen Brunson's a scrub and he can't play? No. She said none of those things. She just simply said that a small guy can't lead you to a championship, in her opinion. And as an NBA analyst, that's what she does, provides an opinion. When she's coaching, she coaching. When she was balling, she was balling. At this moment, she was acting in the role of as an analyst, and she provided her opinion. So if you want to argue the opinion, that's on you. We debate that kind of stuff all the time. What you're not going to do is disrespect Becky Hammon as if she don't know basketball. And that is what upset me with this whole thing. Like, Becky has forgotten more basketball than most of us will even will ever know or ever remember. And so it's the disrespect that comes along with not only her and her credentials and what she's accomplished as a basketball player, but it's something that we typically see specifically as women who are covering, discussing, talking about, or going through the motions of having a conversation about a male-dominated sport. It is tiring. We are tired of it. My good friend Mina Kimes goes through it all the time. She's an NFL analyst, and that woman knows NFL better than most people I've ever encountered. And
she hadn't even played the game.
Never even played the game. And that's the one thing that people will argue. Well, you ain't never played before, so how do you know blah, 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 blah. And my response is always, well, I mean, there are other people who are coaching and who have never played at a professional level. And what does that mean? I mean, y'all call Bill Belichick the greatest NFL coach ever. He ain't never played professional football. He played in college, and that was it. Greg Popovich ain't never played professional basketball before. Eric Spoelstra was the video guy. He ain't never played professional basketball before, but nobody's criticizing what they know and their ability to do their job. This woman has done it on every level, collegiately, overseas, in the States. She's coached in the NBA. She's won championships as a coach. We are not going to act like she doesn't have the credentials to make an opinion. Y'all got to cut that out. So I think that it's a very larger, broader topic of the disrespect that women get whenever we are in a position to discuss, debate, or offer an opinion on a male-dominated sport. And it's got to stop. It's got to stop.
Yeah. Point blank. I'm so sick of the misogyny and the sexism. And it wasn't a personal attack. It was a professional attack right on her resume. And it should never been put in question. She never should have had to issue an apology on Twitter. Where she's like, for the record, I love his game. Undersized player. He got passed over in the first round. Yada, yada, yada. Like, he gave us nightmares when we had to play him in Dallas. But I can't. And then she, still stood 10 toes down on her statement saying, I can't put him in the Steph Currys of the world or the LeBron James of the world or the Joel Embiids of the world. Like, that's just not going to happen. And that's somebody who is a small guard. And you can still be a great player, but you just don't have the capabilities, or the game doesn't lend to you winning a championship unless you are.
She's not wrong. And here's the other thing. Here's the other thing, Chris. If there are Knicks fans that are criticizing this comment, you have the pieces. So when she's talking about the game favors bigs, y'all got one. What are you talking about? You got one. Make him step up and play the way that he needs to play in order to put you guys in a position to help win a ship. But you got one. If Julius Randle stepped up and played the way Julius Randle could and should, and we thought that he would play almost every single game, coupled that with Jalen Brunson, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Come on now.
So what are we doing? What are we doing?
Listen, you spin right now. Knicks fans, and I love them, right? Because they're so passionate and diehard, but some of them be way too over the top, like overzealous. If you make one critique about the team, it's like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. They haven't watched any games. They're casuals. No, not at all, people.
No. How many men have said this very similar thing about the Knicks or about Jalen Brunson or just in general? How many times have we seen guys make a comparison about or a criticism of a player or a team, and people will question, and you gave the example of Kenny Smith making a comment recently and people were like, oh, you ain't watching the game. What no one did was say, well, Kenny Smith don't know basketball or Kenny Smith ain't that. Like, no one said that. But when it comes to Becky don't know basketball. Y'all have lost y'all ever loving damn man.
It's just stupid. And it speaks, Terrika, to the insecurity of these people who do not view women as being powerful and insightful with their minds. Like, you wish you had the acumen. You wish you had the intelligence of Becky Hammon when it comes to basketball knowledge. You wish you had the career she had. But you don't. And that's why you're sitting where you are and she is where she is, winning championships, saying whatever she wants now and not holding back, right? Like, yeah, I'm not here for it. Y'all got to do better.
Yeah.
And I just don't like the double standard whatsoever.
Becky, you better than me, sis, because I ain't clearing up shit. I said what I said, and it is what it is. I ain't clearing. I appreciate her tweeting out that, for the record, let me clear this up. Man, listen, I'm standing on business. I said what I said. It is what it is.
You would have gave that
when I done won 2 championships. What? You let me win 2 WNBA championships and think I'm about to clear up anything. I ain't clearing up nothing in 2024. Y'all tripping.
In the her first 2 years as a head coach in the W, like that's the other thing.
I said what I said.
Okay, all right, Nene. I said what I said. Okay.
I said what I said.
Oh my goodness, Lord have mercy. This is crazy. I love it. You something else, Terrika.
Y'all love me.
Oh yeah, all day. And we love some Ja Morant, right?
I do.
On the court,
I really do.
right? Getting his whole thing back together after off the court issues with the gun, waving it, being immature and reckless, and having him back has been a blessing to the league. Like, the Grizzlies, Terrika, have not lost a game with Ja on the floor after his 25-game suspension. They could, they will be.
Joke.
What's that?
I thought you was about to make a Pistons joke. I was ready.
Nope. I wasn't even going there. I was letting y'all off. But now that you do say that, if you want to bring it up, as of this taping, so I'm safe from whatever happens Tuesday night. As of this taping, the Grizzlies got more wins with Ja Morant than the Pistons do all season long. And Ja Morant gave them a 25-game head start. What are we doing? The Pistons have 2 wins. I'm sorry.
I quit.
You what?
Find somebody else to do this show. I quit.
I ain't talking to myself. I mean, I can, but that ain't fun. I already do that on the subway to make people think I'm crazy. So nobody come after me. But yeah, let's not talk about the Pistons, right?
Thank God.
Let's refocus it back on Ja Morant and just the way, Terrika, he has changed the chemistry of this team in such a short time. And it's not as if he's playing scrubs, right? They've beaten the Hawks. Yeah. They've beaten the Pelicans. And then I think the other team was Houston, maybe, right? So it's really impressive to see the quickness in which he's been able to change this team's outlook. And they're not even fully healthy yet, right? Because Steven Adams is gone for the year, but you got Marcus Smart, you got Brandon Clark, you got Luke Kennard.
Yep.
I'm just a fan of the acrobatics and the personality that Ja Morant brings, and I just hope that he stays in check and keeps his shit together, essentially.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I really am a fan of Ja Morant and have been since he was at Murray State, and I really think that the dude, you just got to really be about your business, Ja. Like, for real. I've been very critical on players and people who give us these half-assed apologies and these public relation statements about how they're going to do better and they're apologetic and blah, 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 blah. And then you turn around and do the same thing over again. Now, granted, nobody was harmed or injured in the stupidity that Ja Morant was involved in. And if we're being honest, in some ways, some of it, at least the last incident wasn't technically illegal, but whatever. That's a different conversation for a different day. Right. The whole point is you play in a league in which your your behaviors are watched and monitored. People look up to you. They look up to the things you say. They look up to the things you do. And you come across as a very real and relatable individual, right? And you're a young Black man in America. You got to be very smart about what you do, how you operate, and how you move. And I would like to see you put this situation behind you. I would love to see Ja Morant be like, listen, I made a mistake. I made a couple of mistakes that I truly have learned and benefited from. And now my focus is on, one, protecting my bag, and two, making sure that this team can get back to a position where we thought at one point in time that this Grizzlies team was like the next team. Like they were formidable contenders, right? And so you can kind of see right now that they're starting to rally again around Ja Morant. And yeah, they've had some injuries that have, plagued them early on in this season as well. But I like the direction. And as we were talking about earlier, when we were talking about teams losing or not really having that chemistry just yet, it's still December, right? And so for this team, it plays in their favor that it is still early and they have a huge opportunity to turn their season around and get back to that place where they can be a formidable contender in this. And they can do that. They can make a plan. Like, I think with Ja back playing the way he's playing, they can make a plan. Like they could get there. So I really do love this. I really do love the way that they're centering around. I love the way the community is embracing him. Whenever you see him post game, he's very happy. He's smiling.
Yep.
It's joyous if it's real and it continues.
Yes.
Don't do shit else, Ja. Like don't even breathe wrong. Just don't do nothing else, because we can't keep making these young and dumb excuses for you. You're a grown man. You got grown man responsibilities. You know right from wrong. Check your circle. Check yourself, and don't do no more dumb shit. Like flat out.
That's it. That's all we want, because you are magnetic on the court. You're looking like a ballerina out there, a gymnast, with your ability to weigh your body control and just how you fly in the air. And yeah, and he's also got a daughter, right? So that I don't know, and that doesn't always, motivate people to do the right thing, but I feel like it should, right? Where you want to be an example for your kid. You can't be waving guns, or, get in the fight, whatever. It's self-defense. Okay, that's another thing. But yeah, just be smart. Just be smart. You got all this in front of you, generational wealth. You're on national TV. So many people look up to you. Use that privilege, responsibly. You do that. Stay off the social media. Like,
say it again. Privilege. Say it again. I said it last week. Playing in the NBA, it is not a right. It is a privilege. It's a lot of people walking around the United States that got NBA talent, but they ain't in the NBA, because playing in the NBA is a privilege. So I need people to respect that and understand that before that privilege is gone. That privilege could have been gone for Ja. He's got a third opportunity now to really do the right thing. So I really want him to do the right thing. Nobody wants to see this kid fail. Do the right thing, because the Grizzlies look so much better when you're on the court. The NBA is better when we get to see you ball. So come on, Ja. Like 3 wins, one of which was at home. I believe they hadn't won a game at home. I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say that either they hadn't won a game at home all season, or they had only won 1 game at home all season. One of those is the stat. Either way it go, like the building was rejuvenated. And I'm trying to get to Memphis, because Memphis got to whoop that trick. And
right, They was playing it with Penny Hardaway and the Memphis Tigers when they were playing Vanderbilt after they beat it.
Be lit, okay? That thing be lit, T. I'm trying to get to that. I've been saying it for 2 seasons now. I've been playing around. I got to get to Memphis for that, because y'all are too lit. So keep the energy, keep it going. Like, come on, Ja. Keep the energy. I love to see you back.
Yeah, same here. We're all rooting for you to be the amazing talent you are, and just lead by example, for your community and for your children and for yourself, right? At the end of the day. But yeah, it wasn't the Rockets who they played. It was the Pacers. That was the other game.
Yeah.
But I think the Grizzlies are going to, make a run, right, for the play-in tournament. Anything else, you're ridiculous. But with Ja, it's night and day how they look. So that it's just special to me. Yeah, I get a. I go. I was gonna say I get emotional. I do and I don't. Like I was kind of being just exaggerated, but there's something about the way Ja Morant plays that just flashes me back to my childhood because of how dynamic his performances are and the way he moves in the air, as I mentioned before. It's poetry, it's art.
Yeah, he's
That's
Showtime.
what I want to say.
He's Showtime.
It's showtime for sure. All right, y'all. It's time for the jump ball segment, and we are so excited to let y'all in on the fact that we about to be breaking down the best moments from the sports year that was 2023. And Terrika, I'm going to give you the floor first because I know you got a range of memorable moments that stand out to you in 2023. Am I wrong?
You know what's crazy? I have way too many moments.
Yes.
It's way too many. It's so hard to like pick. I don't even know if I could pick a top 5, but I definitely want to throw out some moments that like I personally was there for or saw or witnessed, because I think those are the things that you just can't, like, in your mind you're just like, I can't believe I saw that. So like anytime I'm present for a WNBA finals, like this year, to be in the building in both Vegas and New York to see Asia Wilson dominate, to see Jonquil Jones hold up her end of the, like, to see the finals come down to literally a basket with less than like 20 seconds left on the clock, if that. Like, that was and to see the arenas packed, 18,000 people, 15,000 people. I mean, like, pack everywhere. Every Vegas, New York, packed. Like, stars, celebrities, everybody, everywhere. I'm walking. Did I tell you that Leon winked at me? Child, Leon don't wink at me like that. I was in New York at the finals, and Leon winked. Boy, you better quit playing, Fire Heartbeat. That in itself is another moment. But I'm like, those are the moments.
You talking about ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis? Okay,
ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. I was like, was that wink for me? That was amazing. So I couldn't. I was tapping my home girl. I said, oh my God, girl, look at Leon. Let me tell you something. I'm married, Leon. Quit playing with me. But it, like, that to me was a moment that I won't ever forget because of just how special and how different this was. Coco Gauff winning the US Open.
Yeah.
Like, what? I was stuck, glued to the television, glued to the screen because you wanted it so badly for her. And so to finally see her do it, to see another young Black woman really achieve, you know, one of the highest goals that you can achieve in the sport of tennis, just so amazing, right? So I think that's another moment that that really stands out to me this year. Oh God, there's just so many.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
I mean, I know, like, there's a lot. It's so much to try to put, like, to try to sum up. Like, I would need like a good, like, top 10 kind of show to even I was happy to see Joel Embiid win MVP. Although I felt like last year was really his MVP year, but in either case, I was happy for him because he, to me, was someone who I felt like had been right there every single year on the tip, on the cusp, and just never got the respect. And so for him to finally win MVP this year, I was so happy for that dude. I really think Joel Embiid's a good guy. You know what I mean? So I just felt like these are just the moments that I'm just like, I love this, y'all. I really love this. And I guess the last one for me was being in Utah for NBA All-Star.
Okay.
Utah flipped the script
over there, did you? You didn't eat any pizza over there, right?
They flipped the script on your girl, Chris, because I was like, ain't no Black people in Utah. This is about to be whack. I had a blast in Salt Lake City. I had a blast. It was like everything was everything. The people were there. There was stuff to do. it was a blast, really. And so it was just, there it is, another experience to check off the box. Like, never have gone to Utah before ever. And so to go and it be All-Star weekend and just all the festivities, all of the people that you meet, all of the activations, it just like, it's just a moment. Like, I loved every bit of it.
That is so beautiful. I'm really glad you got to experience that. Because you hear Utah, and I'm not jumping out the window, to book a flight. Never have been.
Utah was lit.
Right?
Utah was
okay.
lit.
So maybe I'll make a trip down there. Maybe that's what I'll do. You mentioned, so we were both in the building for the Aces defeating the Liberty, right?
Yep.
For their second straight title, and for me, I've never been at an NBA or WNBA finals ever. So the biggest game I've been to was like the national championship between Duke and Wisconsin in 2015. And that was life-changing. But to see the Aces do that with all the crowd against them, the fact that they were down 2 starters, and the way it ended, we got the game that we were looking for so long. Because at one point we were tired of watching them play because it's blowout in one team's favor and blowout in another team's favor. To see them rush out on the court, the tears that, poured out of everybody's eyes, and the hugs from Dawn Staley, their parents, their significant others, that's a moment I'll never forget. Yeah. But I'm surprised, Terrika. Well, I'm not surprised because there was so much in 2023. But we got to talk about Angel Reese and the LSU Tigers winning the NCAA title.
Yes,
this year.
Yes,
winning
indeed.
it. The whole Can't See Me, all that.
The whole, yes.
Like, that gave me so much joy because of how Angel has been portrayed in the media for so long, and the way she plays, and the double standards between how she acts and other players who are not of her complexion. That's a moment I'll never forget because they handled Iowa, and everybody's expecting, okay, it's going to be this cute story, great story. Caitlin Clark, one of the best offensive players you ever see in the game, and they're going to take them down after they beat, the undefeated or previously undefeated South Carolina Gamecocks. And like Alexis Morris, balling.
Yep.
Jasmine Carson, hooping like her life was on the line. She saved them in that first half. And then Angel doing what she does, extremely great around the offensive, rebounding area, clean up the glass. Great, nifty shots that she puts up.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that gave me a lot of happiness.
Crazy.
And then also Coco Gauff, just because we grew up watching Serena Williams and Venus Williams, I remember being on the edge of my seat for every match, and to see Coco do it after all her struggles, I said, bless her heart. Like, you started as a kid in there, and you had the picture, and now you were a Grand Slam champ. And it wasn't the fact that she just won, but she was down a set. And you're thinking Sabalenka is going to cook her, maybe, because it's happened before. And then the poise was phenomenal. Was phenomenal to me. So those are two moments that really stick out. I also got to shout out, this is not basketball, but Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, 2 black QBs in the Super Bowl.
That angle, I'll shout that out. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come on now.
Yes.
And
no, that's dope.
We was going to win either way, right? We was going to win either way. A black QB was going to win. So anytime we have an opportunity for that, I'm always down for it.
I love that.
And then another
I got an honorable mention. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, because I just thought of an honorable mention. No, you go first because mine's is personal. Go ahead.
Oh, yours is personal. Okay.
This is personal.
The other moment I think for 2023 is the way in which the Nuggets superstar Nikola Jokic celebrated their NBA title. We ain't never seen nothing like it. The man literally was shaking hands with the Heat players after they won. Like, good game, good game. Who does that? Who does that? And told Lisa Salters, like, yeah, we got the job. We won more games than them. Now we can go home.
Now we can go home.
You just won your first ever NBA championship, and you acting like, yeah, 9 to 5. We clocked in at 8.
Hey, but he got lit when he went home.
Oh,
when he went home? No.
Did he ever? When he got home, he was in heaven, and I'm glad because that's what he was looking forward to the most. Like, the parade was great. I know he was initially skeptical, but
I gotta go home.
He's like, I gotta go home. I gotta see my horses because he loved horse racing and all that. And you just saw the freeness and joy in his heart. And did you know, though, quickly, did you know that he actually, when he was in Brooklyn this past week, when they played the Nets, he actually found a company that was having horse racing and went out like 30 minutes from the city to partake in it in the freezing cold.
Wow.
So he really loves
horse racing.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's pretty dope. I think the two that stick in my head that I want to add quickly before we get out of here, because I know we're going to close the show, is I would be remiss to not mention that I got an opportunity to watch Alyssa Thomas all season long. And that woman put on a show, did something that we had never seen before in any sport, men's or women. Like the women's basketball world was she just, so I gotta give love to Alyssa. And the other thing quickly that I have to mention is I went to France to watch women's basketball. Like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, you mentioned Dawn Staley and it hit me. Like, I would be crazy to not think one of the best sports moments, at least for me personally, was to literally be able to go to another country to watch a packed arena for two of the most notable women's basketball programs in Notre Dame and South Carolina. And the experience was incredible. The experience for them was incredible. So yeah, personal moment was just like, what can 2024 bring that can top that, right? Like, I can't wait to find out.
I'm ready. I'm looking forward to that because that is a high bar. That's high bar. You watch one of the most the craziest seasons or most exceptional season, I should say, that a basketball player has had. Forget WNBA. And she's doing it with one arm. Like, she should have, if it wasn't AIDS, she should have won MVP, right? But we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. And then, Paris. You in Paris. And you got two black women who you get to watch as head coaches who are leading young women. And they put on a show. A absolute classic, right, in terms of just the star power and the exciting play. So, 2024, that's going to be real. That's going to be real interesting. The bar is very high. On that note, we're going to sign off here for the 3-on-3 pod. I'm Chris Williamson. She is Terrika Foster-Brasby. Didi Richards is out, still holding it down in Australia, hooping it up. And we'll be back in 2024. And also make sure to follow us on Twitter at the 3-on-3 pod. And then on Instagram, you can follow us at 3-on-3 pod. And make sure to download the podcast on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcast, baby. Because we're going to have all types of fun each and every week. Because when you got Terrika alone, you got to get your popcorn. You got to get your popcorn.
I gotta
you be cutting up. You be cutting up a lot, and we love it. So for that note, we'll see you later. We'll see you next year, baby.